Welcome to downtown Plano, historic Plano, by the way. There's a couple of different sections of Plano, but this area right here, nice, beautiful park. They got fountains in the background and a little museum off to the side. You can kind of come through here, take a nice stroll, plenty of picnic tables if you want to enjoy lunch, or as we're about to head over to the farmer's market and take a little stroll through there and show you, which is exactly what we want to do today. Take you all through Plano and show you why everybody likes Plano. At least, oh, I would say most people like Plano, but it's a really good mix of the old and the new. This is something where if you like, you want a fixer-upper and you want it in a really great established neighborhood, Plano's the place to be. Or you can find some new construction, but they're in little pockets nestled throughout. But we're gonna take you through a couple of different neighborhoods, different pockets of Plano, show you what everything's going on here, why it's so popular, why so many people are moving here, and what you could get for your budget around Plano. So let's start out. Let's go check out the farmer's market. It's pretty cool. Now, and as we head over to the farmer's market, you can see right behind me, if you are a history buff, kind of like myself, then you've got this cool railway museum right here. You can check it out with the old rail car there hanging out. You can go inside, check some things out. And you got a little mix of the old and the new here in the historic downtown Plano area as well. You can see they've built some newer apartments over on this side. But again, I love farmers markets. It's one of my favorite things to do. And this is one of the oldest here in the North Dallas area. But let's cross this street safely and we'll meet you on the other side. Oh, now welcome to the Plano Farmers Market. When you walk in here, I can smell the peaches. I mean, they're amazing. Now what happens is you have a lot of local small business owners, farmers that come in, like the Bread Street boys right here. The guy just came in and dropped off these fresh loaves of bread here. So all of these different little areas are brought in by different business owners, and it's amazing. You want some real homegrown produce, bread, baked goods, yogurts, I mean, all that great stuff. You're gonna find it here in the farmer's market. I think I'm gonna have to get some of those peaches. I can just smell them. Boy, they're amazing. Now here's a good example of a little mix of the new with the old over here in downtown Plano. You can see, well, this building's empty, but we just passed the craft beer house. They have a little sweets shop right there as well. Looks like somebody needs to lease out this spot too. They've got apartments up above and the beer store on the corner as well. So you got those handy at least, which are very important, right? Your liquor and your sweets. But now we're gonna head into the really old historic park that has a lot of the older buildings. We're gonna grab a coffee. You know, I gotta get an iced Americano because it's a little toasty out here today. Now they don't call Plano the city of excellence for nothing. The city just north of Dallas is home to 282,000 residents and is currently the 9th largest city in Texas. To a really cool downtown art district to a bustling corporate presence, Plano has something for everybody. Plano's historic downtown arts district is a charming and vibrant area that is home to dozens of restaurants, multiple music and event venues, public art throughout, and boutiques and other shops. Located in East Plano, the district is a great place to spend an afternoon or evening exploring. The district's authentic brick-lined streets are lined with a variety of businesses, making it a great place to wander and discover new things. Whether you're looking for a delicious meal, a fun night out, or a unique shopping experience, you're sure to find it in the historic downtown Plano Arts District. In addition to its many businesses, the district is also home to a number of public art installations. The historic downtown Plano Arts District is a great place to experience the best of what Plano has to offer. Whether you're a local or a visitor, be sure to check it out. Old school barbers, again, lawyers, just in case you get cut at the barber shop, right? Then you can go next door. Happy birthday, Plano, celebrating 150 years. Looks like you've got more boutique shops right here. I mean, you're probably not gonna spend an entire day unless you're a really slow walker or shopper, but otherwise, this is probably a good half-day adventure right here to downtown historic Plano. And you've got a nice little knick-knack shop over here, Cocoa Beach, but I can't wait to get this coffee. Let's go check out 1418 Coffee Shop. Now, on our way over to 1418 Coffee, which is a historic coffee shop here in downtown Plano, you're gonna notice, first of all, really cool red brick streets. Adds a nice touch, right? You kind of got this old school Fillmore pub right here. Looks like it's from England back in the day. Across the way, you've got gelato shop, you've got sushi restaurant, you've got event spaces right there, and various other shops. There's actually another coffee shop right across the street. Urban Crust right here, pizza if you want to grab a slice over here. And you have some boutique shops where you can do some nice shopping for some clothes if you want to as well. Plus you have the directory where it gives you the whole map of everything that you can do here in downtown Plano. But this is probably one of the most popular spots. You'll see why here in just a second. You've got Better Than Sex Dessert Restaurant. Now this is a place, it's closed right now, otherwise we'd take you in there. But, well, maybe it probably wouldn't be appropriate for video anyways, but a good place to get some desserts. We'll just leave it at that. Then you have toy shops. You've got more boutique shops. You've got some other businesses. You've got some insurance companies down here, some other real estate companies, and we won't mention those, right? Because you're gonna call us if you plan to make a move here to Dallas. You've got the steak company where they've got the meats sitting right there in the window. You can check that out. More boutique shops. And as usual, walk-ins are welcome. As you can see, this place is pretty popping off. Now, one thing I love to do whenever I visit the coffee shops here is always pick up a bag of coffee. I got an espresso machine at the house, so I love to get different bags of coffee from different coffee shops that I always visit. And they had some dark chocolate peanut butter protein bites here as well. I'm looking forward to trying these out. They're pretty amazing, simple ingredients. I love when you pick up little homemade goods like this at these stores. That's kind of the charm, right, of coming to these downtown areas. You get a lot of character and you know, homemade things like that. So I'll let you know here in a minute if they're any good. I gotta say that coffee at 1418 was amazing, but this is something I wanted to show you that you just don't normally see on these vlogs. It's usually all the good stuff, right? But we're on the east side of Plano and you're going to come across a lot of these old strip malls. And when you divide up East versus Central and West Plano, there's a difference. You're gonna be over here on the east side in lower price points, older strip malls, older commercial buildings. And that's what we talk about, Plano being a good mix of the old and the new. Over on this side is where you're gonna find homes in a much lower price point. You can even find them around $200,000 for 3-bedroom, 2-bath houses. Now, based on your taste and your needs, sometimes they'll be move-in ready, sometimes they're going to need a little bit of work if you wanna get in there. But otherwise, this is where a lot of rehabs will happen, remodels. Over in this area, you just got a lot of those old 50s and 60s and 70s ranch style homes, the brick homes that were also built in the 80s and the 90s. And then you have these strip malls kind of like this where you've got good businesses. I mean, things are happening over here. I mean, you've got crazy taco shop, you've got a gym, you've got flowers. I mean, Edward Jones, I mean, this is where you could come and put all your money away for investment, right? You've got dance class, you've got Blue, I don't know what that is, but you know, again, you got Napoli's Restaurant, Italian. So as you can see, parking lot half full over here. So people still use this stuff. It's okay. You're going to find probably things on the lower side again. And that's the big difference between West and East Plano. West Plano is very built up, which you're gonna see later on in this video as we go by West Plano, how everything over there is practically brand new, running off of the tollway. You're also on the tollway side where, of course, you've got to pay to drive up and down the Dallas North Tollway. And over on this side, you're closer to Highway 75, where that's a free highway. So you can see a drastic difference between the two areas. But again, we're gonna head over to Plano East High School right now, which is one of the original high schools in the area. And we'll talk a little bit about the schools. We know that's very important for most of you watching these videos. So let's go check that out. As we head over to Plano East High School, I gotta say, by the way, my name's Levi Lassick, and if you're thinking about making a move to the Dallas, Texas area, just feel free to reach out, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. We're happy to help you make that smooth move to Dallas. And you know, we work with clients not just locally, but from all over the world. I mean, it's amazing how we get contacted from people out of state and out of the country to make their move into Dallas. And so we'd be happy to help you make that smooth move to Dallas, and just let us know if we can help you out in any way. And also leave a comment below and let me know where you're watching from. You know, where do you call home right now? Are you local or are you from out of state? Here we are at Plano East, one of the original high schools here in Plano. And you'll notice, you know, when you compare this to probably other schools we've shown you in other vlogs such as Frisco and Prosper, this one looks a little dated and it's older. And that's, again, what separates East from West Plano is you just have a lot of the older architecture over on this side, original high school over here, but still it houses a lot of students and it's still ranked very high in academics. So that's very important for a lot of people, especially if they're in the lower price range. Then coming over to the east side of Plano allows them to still get access to highly rated schools that they can be a part of. And of course, that's very important for them. And again, you know, nothing wrong with that at all whatsoever. It's just the west side has been developed a lot more, and with the toll road, that's where you're just gonna find the higher price points. But I'll tell you a little bit more about the school district in general. So students that live in Plano will primarily be zoned for the Plano Independent School District. This school district consists of over 50,000 students and has an A+ rating from niche.com. The district has a wide variety of schools to choose from, including 44 elementary schools, 13 middle schools, 6 9 through 10th grade high schools, and 3 senior high schools. This means that there is sure to be a school that is a good fit for every student, no matter what their interests or needs are. Students in Plano Independent School District have more access to their teachers and can get more individualized attention thanks to the district's student-to-teacher ratio of 15:1, which is lower than the national average of 17:1. Plano Independent School District has also been recognized for its high test scores, and its students consistently outperform their peers on state and national assessments. For example, the average SAT score in Plano ISD is 1280, which is well above the national average of 1060. The average ACT score is 29, which is also well above the national average of 20. Plano East Senior High serves grades 11 and 12. The school has an enrollment of approximately 3,100 students, and it's ranked in the top 5% of public high schools in Texas. Plano East offers a wide range of academic programs, including advanced placement courses, dual credit courses, and honor courses. It also offers a variety of sports, including baseball, basketball, bowling, cross country, football, golf, gymnastics, lacrosse, soccer, softball, swimming, tennis, track and field, volleyball, and wrestling. In addition to athletics, Plano East also has dozens of clubs to choose from, including the AV Club, Band, Computer Science Club, DECA, Fashion Club, Physics Club, and so many more. All right, so now we're in this neighborhood over here in East Plano, and as I mentioned earlier, you're gonna see a lot of these older ranch-style brick homes built in the 70s and the 80s. Now, the one thing that people like a lot about Plano East, well, Plano in general, is all of the massive trees in the neighborhoods. And you'll just see, I mean, we're a little dry on trees on this side, but on this side, you will see really nice trees that cover almost the entire homes. And again, these homes that are up for sale right now, move-in ready, but at the same time, just depending on your taste, likely probably needing some updates. And, you know, for example, we've got one really for sale right there. that's listed at $440,000. So you can get in the mid 400s over here in East Plano and get something. Now the good thing is that house does have a pool, so that is very critical here in Dallas, especially during the summer, of course. But you will see now, you see some of these massive trees coming up, and that's what really people love about Plano, is these older established neighborhoods. But at the same time, you know, you're gonna have some work to do on some of these houses. But let's cruise around the neighborhood so you can get a better idea. Now here we are in Lakeside on Preston, one of the nicer neighborhoods here in, I would say we're getting on the border of the west side of Plano. And this is a pretty typical neighborhood you would find around Plano with, I would put this in like the old money, a little bit of the older money. You're gonna find a lot of these homes kind of built in 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Still, again, you're gonna find very mature trees, very established neighborhoods, but you just have some really bigger homes. Now, price ranges in here can be anywhere from 500 up to $1 million. You can probably see some of the homes off in the distance. You've got the traditional brick with the mixture of the colonial styles in there, and that's what you're gonna find in these neighborhoods, and you're close to a lot of things that are going on. We're right off of Preston Road, and Preston Road that splits Plano pretty much down the center, and is very well known for its shops, restaurants, bars. Preston Road starts down in Dallas in the Highland Park, Oak Lawn area, and goes all the way through north Dallas into Salina and beyond. So anything around Preston Road is going to be on the upper end and the nicer side. Lakeside on Preston is a community located on the west side of Plano. The community is home to over 1,000 homes and is surrounded by natural beauty, including Lakeside Lake, a 15-acre community park, and tree-lined streets. It's over 400 acres. The price range is from the mid 500s to over 1 million. You have amenities such as the community clubhouse with fitness center, a pool, and a playground. You have the neighborhood swimming pool, a private 15-acre community park, lots of food options, and next to Plano West Senior High. And you'll find stone bridges and tree-lined streets that make your evening walk a lot more enjoyable. And we figured we'd go ahead and stop by Plano West as well so you could see that. And see, it's not that much newer than Plano East, but it does have a little bit more of an updated feel. And this is one of the big rivalries here in Plano, is Plano West versus Plano East. And this being on the west side, it borders Willowbend neighborhood, which is probably considered the nicest neighborhood in Plano. A lot of old homes, but massive homes that we're about to take you through, so you don't want to miss out on that, because it's one of my favorite neighborhoods. Massive trees, massive homes. Now, all of the homes are a lot older, but there are some that are getting torn down and then building brand new construction on there. They're absolutely amazing. You don't want to miss that. So we'll give you a little bit more here on Plano West, and then let's go check out the Willowbend neighborhood. So Plano West has approximately 2,640 students. It's an A+ rating from niche.com, considered in the top 2% of high schools in the country, a 17-to-1 student to teacher ratio, and 38% of the staff members at Plano West hold advanced degrees in education. It's a short distance from the Dallas North Tollway and very close proximity to the neighborhoods such as Willowbend and Castlemere. Over 4,000 AP exams are administered at Plano West each year, with the average SAT score around 1310 and the average ACT score around 30. Oak Point Park and Nature Preserve is the largest park in Plano, Texas, with over 800 acres of land. The park features a 16-acre lake, which is popular for kayaking, paddleboarding, and canoeing. There are also miles of hiking and biking trails, as well as a playground, picnic areas, zip lining, dog parks, and so many more things to do. Now we're in Willowbend of Plano, Texas, and this is my favorite neighborhood in all of Plano. Now, this is what they like to call old money over here. A lot of generational wealth over here, a lot of homes that have been in several generations. You just got much older homes, massive lots. A lot of the homes are gated, so you need you need to know somebody if you just want to get in. But some of them are just wide open as well. But here you're gonna find acre lots, 2-acre lots, 3-acre lots. I mean, they're good size. Now, a lot of these homes, again, on the older side, a lot of people have kept these up to date, but some you will find, the ones that do come on the market and they're not that often, then the older homes will still need some updating, or they will be very well preserved. And I don't know, I kind of like the older style. Now, I do like updates in the house personally, so I like kind of the older look with a little bit of a modern touch, but it can't be modern to where it completely throws off the style of the house. So it really just depends on that. And you'll see as we drive through here, just really beautiful homes, very well developed trees because they've been here for decades. Just is what you'll miss in the new construction communities where it's usually just baby trees trying to grow everywhere. But otherwise, calm, peaceful, not a lot of traffic here at all whatsoever. And you can build custom in here, but you're gonna have to find a complete teardown, or there are a few open lots, but they're a little bit more rare. But if you do find a lot, then you can work with a custom builder. And we know some of the best here in Dallas, and you can build an amazing modern transitional to fit in style here. So let's cruise around so you can get a closer look. Willowbend is a community that is located in West Plano, Texas, bordered by Glen Eagles Country Club, and features many lakes and ponds, a neighborhood park, jogging and bike paths, and a median home price of $1.3 million. And you can't come to Plano without stopping by the shops of Willowbend. And this is considered the old school, old money shopping center and shopping mall over here in the west side of Plano as well. Of course, we're about to take you over to Legacy West and show you all of that new development. I'm sure you've probably seen a little bit of that before, but this is the OG of shopping here in Plano. This is where a lot of people like to come. Really nice shops. You've got restaurants. You can even play a little chess over there, hang out on the lawn, listen to the fountains, but you are close to the highway, so you got a little noise there, but you've got this chicken, biscuits, and beer right here. I mean, what better combination could you ask for than that? Actually, we may have to stop in there. Well, we'll make a quick pit stop, but otherwise, we're about to head up to Legacy West, where you're gonna see all of the new shopping, everything that's going on there. It's a great way to wrap up this video. And by the way, leave a comment below. Let us know, have you lived in Plano before, or do you live here now? Either way, what are your favorite parts? Did we miss anything? What would you like to see on the next video? Let's go to Legacy West. Welcome to Legacy West. My favorite store, by the way, right? I mean, this has got to be the best store in all of Legacy West, but you have over 100 shops, restaurants, bars, I mean, clubs, whatever you want right here in Legacy West. I would say this is the family adults playground right here. I mean, it's a great for during the day to bring the kids. Even in the evenings over here, you've got a lot to do, a lot going on, so many options for all your high-end shopping, and you know, you can hit up the Levi's store as well. So I mean, look at this. You got Louis Vuitton over here, you got Suit Supply, you got Front Gate, you got Lucid, Mediterranean over here. But where we really want to head to, and if you remember, where we featured one of the listings was that tower right off the end of Legacy West, right up here, that $5.1 million. It's no longer available, by the way, but we're gonna head over to the food hall. I don't think we covered that last time. This is one of my favorite spots where we've got over 50 restaurants in one location. So if you're not a decision maker, the last place you wanna go is Legacy Food Hall, because you will never get out of there. But if you are decisive and you got a genre in mind, or something that you wanna get in particular, then it's something that has a lot of options. Or if you're with a big group, then that could be a place to go as well, because you'll satisfy everybody. So if you're with a group and they just can't decide, that's the best place to take them, is to Legacy Food Hall. So we hope you've enjoyed this tour around Plano, Texas. You got to see a little bit of everything. Let us know, by the way, if we missed anything. And if you're trying to make a move to Dallas, you know, feel free to reach out, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email. We're happy to help you make that smooth move to Dallas. Again, my name is Levi, and we hope to show you around town. So So Plano, Texas is on your radar now about making a move, and you're considering, well, what's really the good and the bad, the pros and the cons, the yin and the yang of what's happening in Plano. Is it the right fit for yourself and your family? And those are some of the questions that you may be thinking about. You know, is it safe? Is it a good place to live? Is it affordable? Is there anything to do around there, or is it just one of those regular old boring suburbs? That's exactly what we're going to cover in here. Give you the complete overview of the good and the bad of Plano, Texas. Now, Plano is very well diverse. There's a lot happening in there, from the old to the new to the historic to the modern to the west side versus the east side. I mean, you look at Plano, it is one of the most diverse, not just in culture, but in all aspects of growth, population, and what's happening over there. So one of the things about Plano is that you will find both affordable and multi-million dollar properties there. When I say affordable, you can even see as below as $200,000 for a home. Yes, absolutely. But let me give you some of the stats on Plano just to get started. So Plano's population is around 288,000 people. That's almost 100,000 more than what's in Frisco right now. The median age is around 39 years old, which was perfect for myself. That's right in line. As far as property ownership, it's upwards of 60%. So you have a good ratio of home ownership in the Plano area. And the property tax rate, which is something that people are always concerned about, can be as low as 2.1%. We're going to get into that here in a little bit as well. But the median home value in Plano as of right now is around $472,000. And the median income is around $95,000. So employment is something that is very good in Plano. And this is what we're going to cover in this video. We are going to be looking at the schools. We're going to be looking at safety, location, you know, is it clean, diverse, the job market, shopping and restaurants, the cost of living, is there a sense of community, and also the cons, what's happening in Plano that if it's just a little bit more than what you want, maybe it's not a good choice for you. But we don't want to waste any more time. Let's get into it right now. As I mentioned, we're going to just start out with the schools. Education is something that's always on top of the mind of parents since they're moving here with their families, most likely if they're coming from out of state, but even in the local area. And most of the local residents are going to have a good understanding of Plano. So we're just going to touch base on this for those that may not be so aware of what's happening in the educational system of Plano, but it is ranked one of the top school districts, not just in the state of Texas, but in the US as well. So Plano is primarily served by Plano ISD, which is currently ranked the 10th best public school district in all of Dallas-Fort Worth. And that even coincides with rankings in the United States. It's in the top 15, depending on which website you check, as far as top school districts in the US. So here are some of the fun facts about Plano ISD. And whenever I say ISD, that means Independent School District. So we refer to that as an ISD here, and that's how we mostly talk about it. And so that may not be the case where you're coming from. So just know anytime I say ISD, Independent School District. So Plano ISD is made up of 11 high schools, 12 middle schools, and 44 elementary schools. Now, 2 of those high schools are going to be private. That's just over 73 campuses. There's 6,830 total district employees in Plano, and 3,800 of those are teachers. There's over 50,000 students in the Plano ISD system, but with over 6,000 district employees, including teachers, it is one of the top employers in Collin County. And so if you're in the educational system, this could be a good option for you if you're looking for work. The really great thing about Plano is that their test scores are way above the national average. The average SAT is 1,118 points, and the average ACT score is between 26 to 27, and both of those are above the state and the national average. So Plano, that's why it's ranking up there. On top of that, the athletics. You've got pretty much every sport you can think of in there. Baseball, volleyball, basketball, football, of course. And we all know in Texas, we absolutely love our football. And Plano's been one of the top football schools in all of Texas, always up there competing, and has a great
pool of talent that it breeds into the collegiate and sometimes even the pro levels. But in addition to that, you have golf, you have soccer, and you have wrestling for some of those that like a different style of sport. But I tell you what, golf, never can go too wrong with that. Now we're just going to cover the high schools as far as ranking, just because there's way too many other schools to take a look at. But you want to really do your research whenever you're looking at any rankings of schools online, because you can look at different websites, different rating scales, different systems. And so what I'm giving you right now is pulled from Great Schools and niche.com. Now if you look at niche.com, it gives almost every high school in Plano an A+ rating. Now if you look at greatschools.org, it's going to give more of a numeral ranking, and that goes something like this. Plano ISD Academy High School comes in at 8 out of 10, Jasper High 8 out of 10, Plano East Senior High 7 out of 10, Plano West Senior High 7 out of 10, Plano Senior High 6 out of 10, Williams High School 6 out of 10, Clark High School 6 out of 10, Shepton High School 6 out of 10, and Legacy Preparatory Charter Academy 5 out of 10, and Vines High School 5 out of 10. Now again, like I said, even though you may think 5 out of 10 sounds absolutely terrible, but that just may not be the case based on what you're exactly looking for in the school that you want your kids to go to. So based on those rankings, what happens is sometimes they'll be ranked high in test scores or college readiness, but then some other factor will rank them a 1 or 2 or 3. And that's why I say you have to look in and do a little bit more research, because if one of these schools has a lower overall ranking, but those rankings are in categories that are not that big of a concern to you, then it's likely still going to be a good fit for you. But of course, anytime you're looking at homes, you can always see which school district that home is going to feed into, and that could, depend on maybe determining where you want to live or not. So always do your research on that. But overall, almost anywhere in Plano is going to have a very highly rated educational system. But again, that is what's based online according to certain factors, and you may even want to just stop in some of these schools, have discussions with them. I know people do that all the time. They will schedule appointments, go and talk with some of the staff and the administration so that they can get a good feel and see what's going to be the best fit for their kids. Now, whenever it comes to safety, Plano is highly ranked in there as one of the safest areas in Texas and the US. If you look at the national average, even whenever it comes to something like violent crimes, they're 75% better than the national average. So you have a 75% chance of less, is that what you say? 75% less chance of something happening there, although we don't really hear of a lot of negative things happening in Plano. Now you look at property crimes or petty theft, that's where you're probably going to see a little bit more of that, but it's still 50% safer than the national average whenever it comes to petty theft or property crimes, which is basically things getting stolen. One of the biggest things is never leave your car unlocked at night or leave things in the car visible. That is really what drives up these numbers. It's usually a bunch of kids out there playing around past their bedtime, and if they can easily see something in a seat or sticking out of the console, or it's unlocked. Now, that's the thing. If it's not unlocked and you leave something visible, smashing glass is not past some of these kids, but that's the thing. Nobody gets harmed in those situations, except it is a pain because you got to go through insurance and file a police report and all that other stuff. But that's typically what causes that. So always be mindful whenever you go home at night to check everything, even the back seat. Make sure you don't leave anything out, especially if you're out shopping. No bags, anything that looks expensive, money, even dollar bills, sunglasses, anything like that. You just don't want to leave that visible. And I think that's the case anywhere. So Plano doesn't stick out of that, but still you've got a 50% less likely chance of that happening in the Plano area. All right, whenever it comes to location, Plano is one of the best located suburbs in all of Dallas, specifically because it is just 20 minutes north of downtown, but it borders Frisco. And if you've seen some of our other videos, just like I did Frisco pros and cons not too long ago, then I talk about how I believe Frisco is, it practically is the new hub of Dallas-Fort Worth. And we're known as DFW, Dallas-Fort Worth, but I believe we will become DFFW, Dallas-Frisco-Fort Worth. That's how much of a role Frisco is going to play in the future. And because Plano's just south of that, that gives you easy access to everywhere you need to go and do what you need to do. Because not only can you do everything you need to do in Plano, but you've got Frisco to your border, and then you just got to pass through Richardson on the south side, and then you're going to be into Dallas. And if you are commuting to downtown downtown Dallas, not far on the map. Now, traffic is another thing if you're going to be moving in. So that would be one of the cons of living in Plano, is commuting to downtown Dallas is going to, be a little bit of a pain if you're going with traffic. And then of course that's in the mornings into downtown Dallas and leaving in the afternoons. Now, you've got two options. You've got the tollway or you've got 75. 75, there is no tolls, but that's always going to be the most congested and the most packed up whenever you're making that commute. If you're on the west side of Plano, you're almost always going to hit the tollway, and that's going to be one of the other cons of living in Plano, is because the tollway is a main highway on the west side, then you're likely going to be paying tolls quite a bit, because that's an easy, accessible way to get to downtown Dallas, to get to Frisco, and to even pop over to the airport. Now, there are ways to work around that, but that could add a little extra driving time if you don't want to pay for those tolls. But for me, I don't know, tolls are a convenience, and I'm always usually trying to get somewhere faster than I am cheaper. So for me, it's a necessary expense, and I tie into that, but that would be something to take into consideration. Now, if you look at the Dallas-Fort Worth Airport, that's only about 30 minutes away, give or take. Of course, always check traffic before you leave and use the Waze app. I love that because it always tells me exactly whenever I need to leave. If you're going to be flying out of Dallas Love Field, again, only about 25 minutes from Plano. And if you even want to get over to Fort Worth, Fort Worth is a lot of fun and a lot to do over there as well. That's going to be a little bit longer drive, around 40 minutes. And if you want to get to the Cowboys or the Rangers game, then you've got about 40 minutes, give or take there, just because, and if you're going on game day, then, well, you would be going there on game day. Although you can go there and tour the stadiums when there is no games, and they have a lot of activities and things going over there. So there's a lot less traffic, and of course they have concerts there all throughout the year. And so heading over there, you want to give yourself between 40 minutes to an hour to get over to the games, about 50 minutes to get over to Fort Worth, 30 minutes, give or take, to get to the airport and the international airport. Otherwise, Plano's still very well located in Dallas as a whole. All right, another big pro of living in Plano is it's very well taken care of, very well maintained. I mean, it is very, very clean, whether you're going to historic downtown or you're going to the shops at Legacy or Legacy West or shops at Willowbend. I mean, pretty much everywhere you go, the roads are mostly maintained, very well done, not too bad on the potholes. They take care of things there, but otherwise, maintenance overall. You don't see trash cans getting left out everywhere. So the sanitation is on point, on time, very under control. And then also all those public areas, lots of parks and everything to do around there as well. Very nicely maintained by city. And that also plays into the diversity that's going on in Plano. Plano is considered one of the most diverse cities in all of Dallas-Fort Worth, especially for the restaurants. So many people come in from outside of the country, call Plano home. And so there's over 1,000 restaurants just in Plano. And I tell you what, here are some of the favorites. You have the East Hampton Sandwich Company. You've got the Latin Pig, the Cajun Tailgaters, Lockhart Smokehouse. By the way, I was just down in Bishop Arts the other day, and we went to Lockhart Smokehouse down in Bishop Arts. Had an amazing meal. I tell you what, you got to get there early though, because they always sell out of your favorite dishes. So make sure you go closer to whenever they open. You've got Urban Crust, you've got Taverna Rosa, you've got Mexican Sugar, 1418 Coffee House, Yay Fuzzy, and Jorge's Cafe Vienna. Then you go over to Legacy Hall in Legacy West, and that is a multi-story building with tons of restaurants in there. I think over 50 restaurants inside of there. It's absolutely amazing. It's a lot of fun, and it is completely diverse of almost every country in the world. Not every country, because when I say 50, then you know what I mean, because there's over 200, maybe close to 300 countries in the world, but you know what I mean. There's a good chunk of the world represented in a Legacy Hall, so it's one of my favorite spots to go to. Although if you are not a very good at decision making, that may not be the place for you. But if you're going with a group, everybody can split up, go get their food, and then you can meet in the middle. They have community dining or even outdoor dining where you can go, and then also they usually have live bands, especially on the weekends. It's a great place to huddle up, especially if you're working with a big group and nobody can decide on where to go. You say, hey, let's go to Legacy Hall. You can just pick your own stuff and we'll meet up out in the back, have a good meal, and it's a lot of fun. Plus, around Legacy Hall, which that takes us into the next category of one of the best things about Plano, is the shopping. You've got Legacy West, you've got shops at Legacy, you've got shops at Willowbend, and I tell you what, what, that's some of the newer areas built up that have really brought Plano back to life, especially the nightlife. If you're have kids, I would say Plano is known for adulting crowd, you could say, at nightlife, to where you have those areas where you can go hang out, be seen, meet your friends, hang out. I mean, sometimes even bring the kids. But if you don't want to do that, you'll hang out and then everybody gets back by a decent hour. There's not too much extended nightlife going on in Plano like you'll see down in downtown Dallas, or uptown is, of course, where you have a lot of young professionals and singles living mostly. This is where you go out, you hang out at a nice restaurant bar typically, or you might go to a bar afterwards, have a couple of drinks, and maybe by 11 o'clock midnight, you're back home, which I think everybody appreciates, especially at the median age of 39, right? You don't want to be out there all night until everything closes. But that is one thing here in Texas. If you're not familiar, especially in Dallas, bars close at 2 a.m. All right, so there's a cutoff. It's not like New Orleans where it just stays open all night long. So they do have a cutoff point. And so that's just something which is nice, because if you end up staying out too late one night, they will shut you down. Just make sure you have a ride home, because you want to keep Plano safe, as we mentioned earlier, right? A couple of the other shopping centers in Plano are going to be Prestontown Crossing, but also close by is Collin Creek Mall and Stonebriar Mall. And of course, we featured Stonebriar Mall. If you haven't seen our Frisco vlog tour, where we actually stop by there and take a quick look, there's so much going on there. Even this place called Kidzania, which is an indoor city for kids. I tell you what, you take your kids there, they can earn money, they work jobs. I mean, all kinds of stuff. It's crazy. It's an actual indoor city just for kids. They have a waiting room for parents, because they want you to take your kids there, drop them off, and just let them go be adults for the day. So pretty cool. Give them some life skills, let them earn some money, pick some jobs, maybe something they're interested in. They could actually kind of try it out. So people like that, and that's not too far away from you. Right on the border of Frisco and Plano actually is Stonebriar Mall, because it's right there at 121. And so just on the other side is Plano. So depending on where you live in Plano, that's going to be very close by, easy access. And then of course, you also border Allen, which Allen, if you haven't seen our Allen video, pros and cons, then what we talk about there is all of the shopping in Allen. And I tell you what, there's no shortage of shopping in Allen as well. So you have to check that out, because Plano is going to put you right dead center in all of that. And I tell you what, you couldn't be in a better spot. Unless you're not good at saving money, then maybe Plano is not the best spot. Just saying. Now, one of the next best things about Plano is there actually is plenty to do in Plano, okay? So whenever you're looking at outdoor activity, Plano is home to one of the biggest parks. I mean, probably the biggest park in all of Dallas, and maybe one of the biggest parks in the state of Texas. But Oak Point Park and Nature Preserve is well over 800 acres, and you have zip lining and hiking and biking and trails and all kinds of things that you can do over in Oak Point Park. It's massive. Anytime you want to go over there, if you're an outdoorsy type of person, there's plenty to do there. You also have plenty of Plano youth sports you can choose from. You've got the Arbor Hills Nature Preserve. You've got the Boardwalk at Granite Park. And if you love golf, Glen Eagles Country Club is one of the top golf destinations in Dallas, because it is situated in the Willowbend neighborhoods, which Willowbend is seen as one of the most prestigious neighborhoods, not just in Dallas, but in Texas. And it's one of those old money neighborhoods, kind of like Highland Park, University Park in downtown Dallas. You've got Willowbend up in Plano, which is just well established, and one of the places that if you lived in Plano, that's definitely if you live in Willowbend, you're in the know there. You also have Ridgeview Ranch Golf Club. You got Pecan Hollow Golf Club. You got the club at Los Rios, the clubs at Prestonwood, the courses at Waters Creek. Those are more in the Allen area. But again, as I mentioned, with Allen being so close by, you're going to have access to everything around there as well. You got Russell Creek Park, Heritage Farmstead Museum. And this is really like a farm-like environment. So it's a great place to take your kids and check out. But moving on into the next pro of living in Plano is going to be the economy and the job market there. Now, this is one of the most intriguing things happening in Plano. It is a destination for corporations, especially moving from California. A lot of tech companies are making their move into Plano. These are some of the top employers you will find there currently. You've got JP Morgan Chase, you've got Capital One, you've got Bank of America, Toyota, NTT Data, which used to be Dell Services. You got Liberty Mutual, you've got Ericsson, JCPenney headquarters. Yes, there are actually a couple of JCPenney's left. You've got USAA and Fannie Mae. So I tell you what, and more companies are moving there. That section by the Dallas North Tollway and 121, which is also a tollway, that section where Plano and Frisco meet has become the epicenter there of a lot of corporations moving to that area. They absolutely love it. They're super close to the airport, close to downtown, and as I mentioned earlier, with Frisco and Plano being right there, it's a great split for companies to make that move in there. And they're all projecting within the next 5 to 8 years that Frisco and Plano will have more office space than downtown Dallas. That's kind of hard to believe, but that's where the growth is happening, and things are moving north of Frisco and Plano as well. So again, going north, you're looking at Prosper and Salina. Salina has a population of around 30,000 right now, but has permits over 300,000, almost 375,000 permits for home sites in Salina already approved, which is double the size of Frisco. Now think about that. Salina is only about 10 to 15 minutes from Frisco, again, making Frisco that hub spot to where even living in Salina, you may feel like you're way far away from downtown Dallas, but you're going to have everything you need in Prosper and Frisco regardless. Allen and Plano, I mean, you just won't miss out. And so everything is just centralized right there, and it's a great spot overall. A couple of the other companies in Plano are Frito-Lay, Intuit, McAfee, PepsiCo, Hewlett-Packard, Cinemark, Aramark, and many, many more. All right, now we're getting to the last pro on the list, and one of my favorites is the housing market in Plano. Now, this is going to be seen as a pro, possibly a con as well. However, if you want to look for affordable housing, currently, right now, in the last 90 days, the least price home sold was $158,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $158,000. That was actually for a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. Now that was likely a complete gut job, but even if you put $100,000 into that, you're still going to be around $250,000 for a 4-bedroom, 2-bath house. That's not too shabby. This is what you want to keep in mind. You have 3 sections of Plano. You've got East Plano, you've got Central Plano, you've got West Plano. East Plano houses the historic downtown. It's one of my favorite areas. I love the historic downtown of Plano, but it's not that big. You know, for a few blocks, you've got some cool restaurants, bars, shops, boutique shops, and you have access to the DART light rail system, which that is one of the pros of Plano, is because that's where the light rail basically ends. So if you want to take the train to downtown Dallas, you don't want to hit traffic, you don't like being stuck in traffic all day, which by the way, you can be a lot more productive on the train. You could drive over to the DART rail on the east side of Plano, close to the historic downtown, or actually it's in the historic downtown. Park over there, take the train to downtown Dallas. That's going to get you there, and that's a very convenient way to commute to downtown if you want. But over there, you have much older homes. I mean, you have a lot of the old ranch style homes. That's where you're going to find homes that are 150 to 200 to 250 to 300. Likely going to be gut jobs, maybe some tear downs. I mean, some maybe move-in ready, but that really depends on your taste. So if you're trying to get up there in Collin County, in the Plano area, in a good school district for the least amount of money possible, you can do that very minimal in Plano. However, on the upside right now, the most expensive home that has been sold is $2.2 million. Now, you look at the current listings on the market, the highest listing for Plano is $6.6 million, and homes can go up into the $10 million plus range, and that's likely going to put you over in the Willowbend area. But that brings me over to the next part of the housing. There's several great neighborhoods in Plano as well, and these are some of the top ones. Willowbend, Timberbrook, Douglas Community, Park Forest, Creekdale, Liberty Park, Clearview, Meadows, Silverwood, Foreman, and many more. Actually, we've got a video of the top 8 neighborhoods, or what are considered the top 8 neighborhoods of Plano, so you might want to check that out. And we actually walk you through not only the map of where they're at and what they're located, but we take you driving around through each of those neighborhoods. So you might want to definitely check out that one if you want to see what's considered some of the top 8 neighborhoods in the Plano area. But overall, one of the biggest things about Plano, I would say on the downside for housing though, is it's older, you know, it's dated. You're not going to find a lot of master plan communities or huge new construction communities going up in Plano like you're going to find in Frisco, and you'll find in McKinney and Allen, definitely Prosper and Salina, Melissa, those areas. By the way, we've got videos on Allen, McKinney, Melissa, Prosper, Salina, all of them. So, you know, the thing is that you're just not going to find large communities under construction. You'll find some communities, but they're going to be very small, and they're not going to be necessarily master plan plan, but that's because you have everything accessible around you to get to. So it won't be that big of a factor, but you're going to find a lot of custom home builds in Plano, especially if you go into Willowbend. If you get into Willowbend, very expensive area, you'd be surprised. People will move in there, or they will buy in there and tear down 10,000 square foot homes just because they're that old and just build completely new in there. Willowbend has a space and the capacity to do that. You'll see a wide variety, much older homes and brand new construction. Now you can also find some of those older homes, they'll completely gut and renovate those homes. So that's typically what's happening in the Plano area as far as new construction, typically custom built, much smaller new construction communities, but not a lot going on in them. Nothing really master planned or with a ton of amenities or, fitness centers and massive pools and tennis courts and things like that you'll find over in Frisco and Prosper. It'll probably just be a smaller group, usually 30, 40, or 50 homes at the max, which you may find in those areas. And otherwise, it just depends on you. It is considered like one of the older areas of Dallas that is a little dated, but even when you go out in the communities, especially in East and Central Plano. Now you move over to West Plano. West Plano is where almost everything is brand new over there. A lot of stuff has been torn down, rebuilt. You have shops at Legacy West, shops at Willowbend. Everything running up and down the tollway is going to be much newer and a lot more attractive for people, especially if you're in higher price points. That's where they're typically going to migrate over to the West Plano area. Easier access up there to Frisco, and you're closer to the airport, and the tollway is a little bit easier to get to the downtown Dallas just because it's the road less traveled because of tolls. So overall, you have to look at those different types of areas. Then of course, depending on where you're positioned at, some of the homes in Plano do feed into Frisco or Allen ISD, and that does affect your tax rate as well. If you're going to be in Plano ISD, your tax rate is typically going to be around 2.1%. If you're feeding into Frisco ISD, it's going to be around 2.2%. And if you're going to be feeding into Allen ISD, it's going to be around 2.4% for your property taxes. Now, make sure you check out the homestead exemptions, military exemptions, age over 65 exemptions, and you want to take advantage of as many exemptions as possible when you purchase your home here in the Texas area, because property taxes do become an issue, and that's something you do want to get on the front end of. As a homeowner, you do have some options there to reduce that and also try to lock them in place for a couple of years as well. You can do that through tax attorneys or local attorneys here as well. They have certain programs for that, usually a flat fee. I think it's well worth it. And you can reach out to us if you have any questions on that as well. But let me know what your pros are for Plano. Have you lived there, or do you live there now, or are you thinking about moving there? If you have lived there or you live there now, let us know in the comments below what you do like about Plano. Also, let me know what you don't like about the Planos. We're about to get into the cons, but also be nice, all right? But we like to help other people watching these videos. That's what really helps them out, is by hearing your feedback as well. That way they don't just have to take my word for it. But the main thing is that if you're thinking about making this move, you just give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. All of that information is in the description below, and we just have a conversation with you so we can see what may fit your situation and help you out the best way. But now let's get into some of the cons. All right, so as I mentioned, tolls is one of the biggest cons of living in Plano if you're going to be on the west side. Now, if you're on the west side, you're probably in a higher price point, so this is something that you may not even be concerned about. But otherwise, the Dallas North Tollway and 121 are going to be your major highways that you're going to get back and forth to places. Both of those are toll roads, and even President George W. Bush Turnpike, that is also on the south side there. So, you're just surrounded by tolls. So getting back and forth is going to be expensive on the toll roads. You get over to 75 though, that's more for your central and East Plano residents, and you're going to have more congestion. So whichever way you look at it, you're kind of out of it either way. So the thing is that convenience, a little bit of a higher price, less convenient, more traffic, no price. And so that's what you have to think about. But otherwise, tolls in general around the area is going to be an issue, especially if you're driving quite a bit, if you're an account rep or account manager or have several locations or several businesses, whatever the case may be. I don't know, hopefully your company will take care of that, or your business, it'll be a business deduction. But if you have a job, then likely you're going to be eating that bill, and it's just something to keep in mind. All right, now when we look at weather for Plano, I mean, you're not going to escape this anywhere in Dallas-Fort Worth. It's pretty much the same. You get up to Plano, it doesn't get any better. So it is hot and humid in the summer. It's not fun, but we have the lakes. Now, this is actually, I could say, a pro of living in Plano as well, is you're right next to Lake Lewisville. You can head over to Lake Lavon. I mean, you've got Lake Ray Hubbard. You've got Grapevine Lake. All of those are within really 10 to 20 minutes of Plano. So you've got easy access to 4 major lakes, and we love that here in Texas. We are lake livers, you could say, lake life. We love the lake life, right? No mountains, no beach. So unfortunately, we have to deal with that, but we do that. And so, the thing is that July, August, it's hot. Plain and simple. I mean, it's terrible. And so that's where we love to spend the time in the lake. But I feel like we have extended fall. We have extended spring. That's the great thing. January, February, very iffy as well. I mean, January right now is beautiful. Right now, 70 degrees outside, sunny. Couldn't ask for anything more. But tomorrow it would probably be 30 degrees. So just something to keep in mind. It's way up and down in January and February, but March, April, May, even June is okay. It starts to really heat up around there, but you got 3 months of good spring weather. And in the fall, September, October, November, December are always really, really nice. And then the trees start changing colors and it's absolutely beautiful. This last year, the trees were just, it was actually some scientific phenomenon. If you read about it, at least in Texas, I don't know about where you're at, but at least in Texas, the trees turned extra vibrant. It was really nice. It was pretty cool to see. And I noticed it and I was like, man, this is really interesting. And then there was an article that came out that said this year trees are a lot more colorful than they have been. But that's as far as I got. I didn't read the whole article and figure out why, so hey, I got a lot to do, always busy. But hey, the thing is that you're not going to escape the weather. It's not a fun thing. And some people complain about the police in Plano if you're a frequent speeder, so they're just trying to keep Plano slow, you could say. And so if you're cruising around and you like to hit it and hit those straightaways and get around, just keep that in mind. There's cops on a lot of corners to try to keep Plano safe, but also keep Plano slow. So just keep in mind, if you're a little heavy there on the foot, then you may want to be a little careful and make sure you keep out or get you one of those radars, right? Another one of the cons in Plano, and some may see this as a downside, is the housing, because yes, you could find homes for as little as $158,000, as we mentioned, but they're going to be in not so great shape, right? And if you don't have the money to fix that up, then clearly that's probably not going to be a home you want to move into. And homes are on the rise. $472,000 being the median price. That's up quite a bit over the previous year. Of course, we just have had a couple of years of a record run. Now, we don't necessarily see prices coming down that significantly in Plano because of all of the influx of the corporations, of businesses, people moving here. You talk about companies like Hewlett Packard and Caterpillar and these other companies that are moving here with thousands of employees. Now, not everybody moves with them, but it also creates jobs in this area too. And Plano has one of the lowest employment rates as a city in the Dallas area, just because of all of the companies moving in there. Plus, we're very entrepreneurial friendly here in Texas and in Dallas. So we are very freedom friendly, tax friendly, business friendly. And so that breeds an environment of entrepreneurism as well as corporations moving their companies here. And then that brings the employees with them. So that's keeping prices, pretty steady and on the rise in the Plano area. And because it is so centrally located, especially being between downtown and Frisco, it's one of the most sought after areas. Plus, the neighborhoods are very mature. You going through the neighborhoods of Plano, that's one of the things I love about it most. Huge mature trees everywhere, very well established neighborhoods. A lot more so, you go into Frisco, there's a ton of new construction communities. So a lot of those neighborhoods in Frisco have very small trees. They're going to take another 10 years for them to develop. And you can always tell that when you go in those neighborhoods. You can kind of tell by the tree size, how new they are. But the thing is in Plano, almost everywhere is very well established, mature trees, mature neighborhoods. Again, some of the strip malls and shopping and things like that, especially in Central and East Plano, a little worn down, and that's the thing, because they focus so much on the growth on the west side that if you're in the lower price points, Central or East Plano is probably going to be a little bit more affordable. But again, that comes with some of those areas, the shopping areas have been a little neglected. Now, I think all of that's going to be renovated over the next 10, 15, 20 years easily. So I think there's a lot of opportunity to grow and investment opportunity in the Central and East Plano side. Plus, over on the east side, you do have historic downtown, which is one of my favorite areas place in all of Plano. But again, you know, if you like the new, you like the shiny, and you like going to shopping, high-end shopping, West Plano is where it's at. And that's typically where people want to be, but they're having trouble with affordability at this time. So it's just something to keep in mind. Now, if you're in a higher price point, not really much of a factor. That may not be seen as a downside, but if you're trying to get your kids and your family into good school districts, you know, without all the price of West Plano, then Central or East Plano are going to be probably the areas, and the high schools over there are still just as good. Again, you just want to go back and check all those ratings and everything online. But overall, you really can't go wrong, I think, in Plano, whether you're on the lower side or the upper side of your price ranges, depending on where you're at. So overall, it's a good choice. It's centrally located, and plus with all the growth happening in Frisco and Prosper and Salina, Plano is going to continue to rise in appreciation, rise in value, rise in opportunity, especially as it being a hub for companies wanting to move in and put their corporations there. So overall, I don't really think you can go wrong in Plano, and the upside definitely outweighs the downside. And so I hope you found value in this video. Again, if you live in Plano or used to live in Plano, please let us know in the comments what you like and what you don't like about it. That really helps out everybody else watching this video. And again, whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, feel free to give us a call, shoot us a text, or send us an email. All of that information is in the description below. The main thing is just give us a call so we can have a discussion and see what may best fit your situation, all right? And if you're interested in getting yesterday's rates in today's market, that is possible as well. So if you're concerned about interest rates, don't be. We've got ways that you can work that down and get that back into the 4s if you wish. But again, just give us a call. We can discuss through that and see if that's even a good fit for you as well. But right now, still a great time to buy. The power is in your hands actually as a buyer. And if you're a seller, feel free to reach out as well, because we've been still selling our listings in record time. The last listing we just put up, we sold it in 2 days and still went $10,000 over. So you are still seeing that happen in the Dallas area for the right priced homes, all right? But if you price too high as a seller, you're gonna be stagnant and you're gonna get up to 30, 60, 90 days on market, and then everyone's gonna think something's wrong with the property. So if you are a seller in the local market as well, give us a call. We've got a great way and an awesome strategy that is unmatched by no one to get your home sold quickly, especially with what's going on right now. So we're not concerned about that at all. And again, until next time, well, we hope to show you around town.